Welcome back to KBC News Check. And after Smart Money Choices 2026, now we are looking at Smart Milk and Poultry Production 2026. Bear me witness that milk is one of Kenya's most important agricultural product, and many farmers feeding families, and driving rural economies. Yet many dairy farmers are frustrated, yet they have already invested in improved breeds, they have invested in feeds, but they do not exactly get the right, the right returns for their products. So how do we change all this in this new year 2026? Allow me to rope in my panel, which encompasses Michelle Arum, who is a laboratory associate at The Hughes, Kenya. Yes. I mentioned it well. Yes. To help us just understand how, to get the right foundation for successful milk and poultry production. Karibu sana the program.
Thank you so much.
The Hughes, maybe in a nutshell, what exactly do you do? Because we've mentioned milk and some poultry as well.
So The Hughes is a Dutch company that is currently setting up in Kenya. We produce animal feeds, and our product range ranges from ruminants, poultry, and swine. Yes, yes.
For how long have you operated in the country?
So in the country, we've set up our state-of-the-art facility that will be launching on the 18th of February. However, the company itself, as The Hughes, has been in operation for over 100 years. Yes.
From your perspective, would you describe the current state of milk and poultry production in Kenya? Because we have seen we are importing a lot of eggs as well, and the farmers are not getting what they should get when it comes to milk.
Yes.
Yeah. They just get some milk, for consumption, and maybe a liter or two for sale, but they can get more.
Yes, they can get more, and it all starts from the quality of feeds. It's not about feeding more, because just because you're feeding more doesn't mean it's going to give you more in return. It's about the quality of feeds. It's about consistent quality, in that the farmer is able to know, even in a month's time, I'm still able to get the same kind of feed that I'm getting today. And I'm able to predict what outcome I'm going to get out of my species or animals.
Maybe that answers the question why many farmers are still getting low yield despite improved breeds, because we have improved breeds both in poultry and also in dairy.
Yes. Just because their breed is good doesn't mean the quality, the output is going to be good. It goes back to the quality of feed, in that the animal is able to convert the feed that is being given into something out of it. If it's milk, if it's egg. So it all goes back to the quality of feed. And then the breed or the genetics of the animal is going to optimize that feed to produce the best out of it.
Speaking of feed, how much of milk production success can be pegged to the feeds that the animal is consuming?
70 to 80%. It all goes back to the feed. Yes, yes.
And after that, we have seen Kenya has a number of breeds, both local and the improved ones. And it's a good thing that a number of companies have also come up to try and make better breeds by artificial insemination as well. And from where you sit and from when you began, how far have we gone in terms of having these breeds that we only see on YouTube and you've talked about Netherlands?
Yes, Netherlands. Yeah. Yes, yes.
They are doing very well in terms of milk production.
Yes, and it all goes back to feed quality. Yes. So what we are bringing in Kenya is a consistent quality feed, in that we're able to trace back the raw materials that we're using to produce the raw materials. And that is what the Netherlands are doing, in that they're able to trace back traceability of what they're using in their feed, what they're using in their formulations. So the formulations is animal-based. It's not just general. It's not just because it's all cows or it's all poultry. Now we're going to make a general feed. So there's the formulation aspect where the feed is tailored to the kind of animals that are present in that country. So that is what, as The Hughes, we are bringing in on board, in that our feed is specialized and tailored to the animals that we have in Kenya, the breeds that we have in Kenya, in order to optimize milk production and egg production. Yes.
And from a laboratory perspective, what constitutes or qualifies as quality daily feed?
So just like I've said, it all goes back to formulation. So the formulation team is able to look into what kind of breeds we have in Kenya. What kind of needs do these breeds need? and then you go back to the raw materials. So this raw material can be able to offer this kind of protein, or this raw material can be able to offer this kind of minerals. So how much do we constitute it? And in the laboratory, what we test is to ensure that raw material that is being brought into the factory meets those standards. And during production, we are having regular checks in that at this stage of production, we take a sample, we check. Is it still within what we are hoping to get out of it? At a different stage again, because there's different things that happen during production. So the feed is subjected to different kinds of treatment. So after this treatment, after heating, after crushing, is it still having the kind of protein, for instance, that we're looking for? At the end of it, just before bagging, is it still meeting the specifications you are looking for? And if it doesn't, we go back to the production line and we're able to rework that feed in order to produce what we are looking for. And it is matching with the formulations, what formulation set up.
And I still believe that you've talked about formulation. So what this means is that this is the reason why you find two feeds which look quite the same, and maybe if it's two bags, you'll find they're almost similar prices, but produce very different milk yields.
Yes, yes. Formulation, because our formulations is tailored to the specific breed, the specific needs of the animal. It's not just a general, one sample, one feed cuts across all. It is tailored to our farmers.
And I have seen some farmers decide not to buy feeds, but to make it themselves. There is no quality assurance there. It's more or less like what they say, patapotea. You know, it might work, it might not work. But for some farmers, it's working. Would you encourage farmers to go this route? Because one thing is that they are bringing the cost down. They can get the maize, they can get the seeds, the sunflower, the soya. They can, you know, mill them and, you know, have a feed that maybe will cater for them for a couple of months. Would you advise the farmers to go that route?
No, I wouldn't. Because there's no consistency. Because where are they sourcing the raw materials from? Where are they, what is the quality of that raw material including their feed? They don't have any background information on that. Is there any KBC regulation? Because at this point, even as the Hughes, we still bank our quality of feeds back to KBC as a guiding factor. And as farmers, KBC is like their anchor or their, you know, their watch station, in that they're able to go back to KBC and be like, KBC has done research and is like advises the animal feed to be able to meet this kind of nutrition. And actually, the Hughes is offering this. But you as a farmer who is, you know, making this formulation, what backing do you have? What any lab support do you have? You know, you're subjecting your feed to different kind of treatment when you're mixing and all that. You don't have any background information of that. So it's more of like a chance. So one time it might work, the next time it may not work. So it's more of like a chance, and you realize that your production is always fluctuating. One time it's high, the next time it's not high. It's not, you know, it's low. So I wouldn't advise farmers to go that route.
And what are some of the lessons that we can pick up from countries like Netherlands, where, you know, they have a very robust dairy sector?
So one of the lessons would be consistency. Consistency in the quality of raw materials that is coming in, consistency in the quality of feed that are being produced. Another thing is having the production close to the farmers, and that is why as the Hughes, we've set up a state-of-the-art facility at the river, in that we're bringing the feed close to the farmers, in that we're able to trace back what raw materials are we bringing in. In case of any complaint, we even have channels. You know, customers are able to log in their channels in an online system, and at the Hughes in our offices, we'll receive the complaint and able to address it immediately as soon as possible. So even having the factory close to the farmers is key.
And how can a farmer detect the early signs that the quality of the feed is the one limiting his or her production?
It goes back to the produce. For instance, something like dairy, the amount of milk the cow is producing. You know, we even have technical support that goes to the farmers and able to look at the farm, the cows or the chicken, the poultry that the farmer has, and they will ask you questions, leading questions. As you as a farmer, you can tell. You know, for instance, yesterday I was producing 10 liters of milk. Today it's 9 liters. Of course, that is a drop. So the technical support, they do monitor that, and they're able to advise you. You know, there's something changing. For example, if it's a cow, the skin, how is it looking like? Supposed to be supple, supposed to be soft and shiny. How is the cow looking like? You know, the fecal matter from the cow, how is it looking like? So it's able to advise you the state of the rumen in the cow. If it's egg production, how many eggs did your chicken produce, yesterday? And you see something like poultry, the results are instant. Because yesterday it was producing 3 trays, today it's producing 2 trays. There is a problem. But for cow, it might take some time, but you still, as a farmer, you need to keep records to be able to monitor how your cows or how your animals are performing over time. Yes.
And what are some of the innovations shaping up the future of dairy farming in Kenya and poultry? We have seen a number of new breeds in terms of AI, that is artificial insemination. And when it comes to poultry, we've also seen a number of hybrids. A couple of years, you've never heard of Kenyeji improved, you've never heard of some of the breeds that we are having now. What are some of these innovations that are shaping up the dairy and the poultry sector, and how can farmers tap into that?
So one of the innovation is consistent testing. This is consistent testing of the feed. What are you feeding, your animals? What are you channeling into your animal? And as they use, we offer free testing laboratory services to our farmers, in that you are able to test for you the quality of feed you have, and able to advise you, this is the quality of feed, how is it going to perform? Or you need to change a few number of things. Additionally, even offer forage testing. So the grass that the cows eat, how is it looking like? How is it going to perform when you give it to your animals? So that is also an innovation that the Hughes has, yes. And
from where you sit, what are some of the mistakes that dairy farmers are making, and even poultry farmers? You find somebody has 1,000 chicks, maybe it comes to vaccination, or it misses something, and then you find that one chicken that is not feeding well, ends up taking out the whole flock. And when it comes to dairy, you find somebody with a very good breed, but when you hear how many kilos of milk or how many liters of milk that somebody is making every day, then you'll find there's certainly something.
So I think one mistake is people assume, feeding more is more output. So a farmer ends up spending a lot on feed, or even cheap feeds. Like, this one is maybe 20 shillings. Let me invest in this one. Let me get this. Compared to this other brand, is 50 shillings. Why am I investing more? So that is one mistake farmers do, assuming cheap is cheap is cheap, but in the long run, cheap is expensive. So you end up feeding your animals more and more and more, but then the output is very little. The feed quality is very low, so the animal takes in more. It looks big, it looks fat, but the conversion rate of that feed is low. So at the end of the day, you have very little output out of that feed.
And what are some of the simple feeding improvements give the best yield? And it's more or less like an advice that you can give farmers out there. Some of the feeding methods, some of the feeding that maybe if you feed your cow 3 or 4 times a day, maybe what routine should somebody maybe change for, in terms of making the cow maybe a little bit comfortable? We've seen cows even have mattresses, some even have music. These are some of the things that, will improve dairy farming. Yes.
In terms of feeding, there's no one blanket covers all, because we have different breeds, we have different genetics, we have different species. So we offer technical advice tailored to your animals. So we have specialists who come to your farm, look at your animals, get a history of your animals, and be able to advise you, this is the best approach, this is the best feeding approach you need to use to your farmer for optimized output out of it. Yes, and there's something like the comfortable living, like you've said, your mattresses. That is common, that is given. It comes to wind towards the poultry. How much light you control with the chicken for optimized eggs produce. There's all of that, but there's also personalized, advice towards the farmers.
Do you work with cooperatives or even extension officers to support better feeding practices? Just like you said, it's not about how much you're giving the cow or the chickens, it's about what you are giving them.
Yeah, we are hoping to bring in cooperatives on board. As for now, we are working with individual farmers. So our technical support is able to work into farmers, and offer technical support. But with time, we're hoping to bring in cooperatives on board.
And how many farmers are we talking about that you're working with now?
It's quite a number. Because we are countrywide. So we're not localized. No. We are countrywide. We offer support, countrywide. Yeah.
And how can laboratory results give better feeding decisions on the farm?
Laboratory results give you give you feedback, give you a background of what you are offering. For instance, if your cow is supposed to have, you know, this amount of protein, if I give you laboratory results and I tell you this is the amount of protein present in this feed, you're able to know, yes, I'm still on the right track, or I need to adjust a few things towards my feeding program. So laboratory results is very important in feeding. Yeah.
If I'm a farmer and I want to increase the milk production of my cows immediately, which is the first advice you can give me as a farmer?
Feeding, the feed quality. Check your feed quality. Yes, check your feed quality in that, because you want the cow to optimize the rumen, the food in the rumen. So check your feed quality. This is both the dairy meal and the forage that is being fed to the cow. Yeah.
When it comes to accessibility of feeds, how accessible are feeds, especially for a company that has been out there for so many years, but now you're trying to, muscle out some of the most established companies. What exactly would you tell farmers? This is something unique that we are giving you as the Hughes.
Yeah. So we have distributors throughout the country. We have sales agents throughout the country. We have technical salespeople who offer expert advice throughout the country. We even have salespeople throughout the country. So our feed is accessible through those shops.
How different is it from other feeds, or what new are you bringing? What new thing you're bringing to the farmers?
We are offering, technical support. We are offering free laboratory testing. So our farmer is able to work from an endpoint, not just, selling you the feed and, sitting back and, waiting for your money. No, we go the extra step and give you feed, still test for you, open to feedback in case of any customer complaint, and we have the traceability channel, we have customer complaint channel, and we also have a backing of science that has been studied. Remember, the company has been in existence for over 100 years. So there's simply nothing new, when it comes to animal feed, animal nutrition. Yes.
And identifying the right breeds, because you find a farmer who has about 10 herds of cattle.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they're not the right ones for milk production.
Yes.
This is information that he or she doesn't have. And when it comes to feed as well, he or she needs this information. How are you working to ensure that this farmer not only knows about the breeds that are right for what he or she wants, because there are ones who want meat, there are others who want cows specifically for milk production. What is the one advice that you're going to give them, especially when it comes to choosing the right breeds and choosing the right feeds?
So this is comes to the technical support that we have. So we don't have, one answer covering all. So we have the technical support who will come to your farm, assess your animals, and then offer advice out of it. So what kind of genetics does your animals have? What kind of breed is your animal? And then out of there, we're able to advise you or tailor a feed to be able to, to optimize your output. Yes.
Being a lab scientist, so to speak, how often should feeds be tested for reliable results?
Every batch. Every batch that is produced is tested.
Every batch? Every
batch. And not just the final. Our testing begins at raw material intake. So once a truck we have incoming raw material, it will wait. We get samples, we test it. Is it meeting specification or not? It's meeting, yes, let it in. During production, we have different stages where we sample and analyze it. And we're able to advise the production team, it's going well, keep going. It's not going well, please adjust a few things. Before we bag the feeds, we also have testing. So even in one batch, we have several testing points before before a feed is bagged. And also before dispatch, we also do a final testing. And when we are dispatching a feed to a customer, we also provide a certificate of analysis. We have a delivery note and all that, and just a certificate of analysis to tell you that whatever we are providing, we are selling to you, this is how it looks like. So as a farmer, you have a quick overview of what you're receiving. Yes.
Allow me to revisit what I had mentioned earlier on. You'll find that some farmers are preferring to, manufacture their own feeds. They buy the maize, all the seeds, and then they mill them and mix them together. Which are ingredients that you have seen being overused or underused? Because there are some farmers who are opting to do this on their own.
So I wouldn't really know, because there is no standard procedure on what every farmer does, or those who are mixing for themselves they do. So everyone mixes in from their own point of advice. They assume, and then there is so much information. On the internet, everyone feels like they're an expert in a particular field. So everyone does everything their own way, and I don't have a particular answer and can tell you, like, no, they use a lot of maize or they use a lot of wheat, or, you know, yeah. Yes.
Let's shift a little to poultry farming. From where you sit, how far have we come in terms of improving the quality of feeds in the country?
So still just like dairy farming, people are still doing the home mixing for themselves when it comes to poultry farming. So the results are not really there. One day it's there, one day it's not there. And there's no consistency, still the same in poultry farming. Yes.
And when it comes to feeds, and especially the chicken ones, because sometimes a lot of Kenyans, you know, prefer the free range, where you just let them fend for themselves, and in the evening you just
you let them home.
Let them home again, pick up the few eggs that they are laid.
Yes.
Why would it be so important for a farmer to have a feeding plan, which entails, you know, buying certified products, including if it's the chicken, the chick mash, if it's for every cadre of the chicken, if it's the broilers, if the Kenyaji improved that we have seen?
At the end of it is predictability. So you want to be able to know how much eggs I'm going to get, you know, at this period, because there's also how a chicken is supposed to behave. You know, at 20 weeks, it's supposed to be producing this amount of eggs. At 25 weeks, this is supposed to be producing this amount of eggs. So once you bring in quality feeds, you're able to predict how much I'm expecting out of this. And you're able to even, you as a farmer, plan ahead. How am I going to improve or boost my profits? How am I going to, you know, improve my yields and all that? And in case of any slight drop, you can pick it out easily. As opposed to, you know, just let them roam. I mean, at the end of the day, garbage in, garbage out. So you don't know what they're feeding out there. So whatever they're feeding is what they're going to produce. But when it comes to quality feed, you are assured of what you're going to get out of it. Yes.
How important is it for a farmer, a poultry farmer, and also a dairy farmer to keep records, and especially when it comes to what is feeding the animal?
It's very, very important, because if a technical person is coming to your farm and he wants to, you know, assess you and, you know, give you a feeding program or advice how to optimize your feeding, your output out of your animals, they will need records. They will need to know, how have you been feeding your animals? How have they been responding? What, you know, medication have you been giving your animals? Out of that, they're able to, you know, customize a program to be able to get the most out of your feed. Yes.
You're a big organizations, you know, having a well-established farm in Europe.
Yes.
And now you're here in Kenya. How accessible is feed testing?
Yes.
Especially for small-scale farmers, both for poultry and for
very, very accessible. Very accessible. Like I said, we offer free testing in our laboratory to our farmers.
Free testing?
Free testing to our farmers. Yes. Yes.
And it goes a long way. Do farmers know even there's this kind of, you know, free testing where you're able to be told exactly this is what and what you should be feeding your livestock or even your poultry? Do they really have that information?
We're hoping this, you know, out of this they're able to know. Yes.
Yeah. This is a good platform.
Yes, it's a good platform for them to be able to know that we offer free testing to our farmers. Yes. So because I'm able to advise you, you know, you gave this feed, you know, we produced this feed, we give you this feed, you fed your animals, but it's not giving the, you know, the output you're expecting or we promised. Please, what batch number is it? We're able to go back to our storage, because we store every raw material that comes in. We store every finished product that is produced. So we're able to go back into our, you know, sample storage and retrieve the sample and offer free testing. And if you as a farmer feel like, no, I still don't want that result, I want whatever I have on farm, we're able to retrieve it and test it and able to advise it out of it.
From where you sit, what policy or regulatory gaps do exist in feed quality control in Kenya?
I feel like for Kenya, there's robust standards and regulations when it comes to animal feed. So there's KBC that stands in the gap and protects farmers and also protects, you know, feed manufacturers. There is a CAFIMA that comes in and is able to, you know, give a guide on what farmers should expect. There is the Kenya Association of Manufacturers that also, you know, guards the consumers out of all this.
Yeah, you're a private entity. What do you think government and industry should prioritize when it comes to improving dairy production and poultry in the country? Because I have seen a lot of eggs from our neighbors, Uganda and Tanzania.
I feel like As an organization, you can just keep providing accessible quality feed, and that is why we set up, a factory in Kenya, and we're hoping that the government will be able to even lower the cost of production, be able to make the feeds, cheap and affordable to even our farmers, so that the animal feed doesn't look like it's for those people who are producing or have large amount of animals. It can be able to accessible to those people who are even doing small scale farming. Yes.
And is investing in quality feed economically viable for small scale farmers?
Yes, it is. It is. Because you don't want to do, how can I call it, an expensive hobby that doesn't give in return. So even if you have 50 chicken and out of it, you can be able to sell the amount of eggs that come out of it and get a small income out of it and do something else with it. Like the program that has just left before, they're talking about saving and investing, and you talked about even that little money that you have, you can still save it. So there's no little money even in small scale farming. Yes.
There's this issue I've noticed, and I had 2 cows which produced milk, but I didn't find it quite viable, and especially when it comes to feed. When it comes to the cost of feed, a lot of farmers are shying away from scaling it up because of the cost, which is becoming quite. How can farmers manage costs wisely?
So you first look at the end product. How much are you going? Because if you look at the cost, you're going to opt for quality, for cheap products. You're going to go for, let me go for this, let me just send my cows into the field and eat whatever they are eating. But what is it they're eating? How quality is it? Whatever they're eating is what they're going to produce. At the end of it, you're going to get low quality milk. So it's important that you don't look at the initial cost. Yes, it's big, but do the cost analysis. If I'm going to invest 100 shillings of feed compared to just letting them roam around, this 100 shillings, how much milk is it going to give me? If I'm going to sell this milk, how much profit am I going to get out of it? So there's the whole chain. Yes, cost is important, but let us also look at the end goal. Because at the end of it, the more you feed low quality feed, the more your animal is going to struggle to digest that feed, to try and stabilize in order to produce something out of it. Not even just quality, just something out of it. Because it's not about even the volume of milk or the volume of eggs. How quality is it? The quality of eggs, can they easily break? The quality of milk, the amount of butter or the fat in the milk. So this is also very important. Yeah.
And you've mentioned the quality of milk, quality of our eggs. In the region, how are we doing in terms of quality of the products that we get from our cows and from our eggs?
Again, that is quite robust, because we are all feeding different quality of feeds. There are those who free range, there are those who do invest in the quality of feeds. So it's quite not one answer fit all. But we are trying. We are hoping to get better. We are trying. There's always room for improvement, as a country.
And what is the role of technology in the feed quality management? And how can we ensure that the feed that is produced in our country is of right quality, and also, of course, will bring something for the farmers?
So technology is important because, for instance, when it comes to formulations, I'm not just going to give you feed because I mixed maize, I mixed this and made a feed and gave it to you. But what is the basics? What is the background behind that feed? What amount of protein is it? What amount of starch is in that feed? So out of this, because as a company we do use technology extensively, even in production, even in formulation, in the testing, in the laboratory. So there is an extensive use of technology. Remember, we built a state-of-the-art facility. And there's new technology out of it, technology that has been studied over time. And we are able to assure farmers that out of it, you're going to get a good output. Yes.
How much of milk production and egg production success can be attributed to quality, the feed quality?
70 to 80%. Yes.
70 to 80%?
Yes. So it all goes back to feed. It all goes back to feed. So there's the additional, a cow needs a good place to stay. I mean, you can't, even as a human being, you can't stay in a dirty place. Your optimization will not be good. But at the end of it, it's what the animal feeds. It's able to convert that feed into an output. Yes.
And the cost of production, especially animal feeds, is in Kenya is still on the higher side.
Yes.
You look at the cost, even if you give us a practical one bag of maybe of dairy meal, it could be inaccessible to a number of farmers, and especially the small-scale farmers. What options do these farmers have? So
we're able to, package the feed into smaller packages and able to access to every farmer, because you're not just catering for, the large-scale farmers. Every farmer is important, because every farmer needs an output out of it. That's why they're investing into it, and we're going to make sure that you as a farmer get the most out of your investment, no matter how little it is. Yes.
When it comes to the poultry, because you're also into poultry.
Yes.
We still do the same processes of quality check in terms of feeds as well?
Yes, our quality checks cuts across. So we don't not just check because it's dairy or it needs more attention. Every animal needs all the same kind of attention. And it's even personalized, because for poultry there is more input. Remember, for poultry, you're able to see the results immediately, almost immediately. It doesn't take time as compared to cows. So if you feed the wrong feed, tomorrow the eggs will drop. Or it may not drop, but the quality of eggs, the shell might be weak, the color of the yolk might change. So it's almost immediate. So still, the quality checks cuts across.
And from where you sit, how can you describe the current state of milk production and poultry, especially in the last couple of years? Because there have been some great improvement, but we are still importing eggs from our neighbors in Uganda and Tanzania.
So there's still room for improvement, like you said, and we are hoping, not really we are hoping, we are promising to provide quality feeds in that we cover that gap, the improvement gap. We are promising quality feeds, and out of these quality feeds, we assure our customers of output out of it.
Here on, I had a discussion in regards to smart financial choices, where we are engaging experts who are helping out Kenyans. Now, when it comes to extension officers, because some of these products, Kenyans and even farmers do not know that, you can be testing is free, advice is free as well.
Yes.
But this information is not getting to the right, people.
Yes.
And I believe your organization, tapping into your robustness and a big company, you can reach out to these farmers through the extension officers, who in turn will also give you a good image and good background of how the farmers are doing.
Yes, we are planning to collaborate with the extension officers. I mean, we can't work independently. We can't work as an island. I mean, we just set up in Kenya, and we need everyone. We need everyone's support. So we are going to bring them on board, and they're able to give us, this is the kind of farmers we have, or this is the kind of quality we have here. And we're even able to advise the small, the small scale, those who are producing small scale feeds. We're able to advise them and be like, yeah, as much as you are doing this, we're able to provide this in return. In that we have background information on what we are offering, as opposed to you where you're working blindly. And we can only get this information out of the extension officers, just like you've seen. Yes.
You mentioned to me that on 18th you'll be having a launch.
Yes.
What exactly will it be for? And you already spread throughout the country.
Yes.
What exactly will be launching, and how will it help farmers, both poultry and dairy?
So we've built a state-of-the-art factory with a state-of-the-art laboratory. So we are now, officially telling our farmers, yes, we've been producing, we've been doing trials and all that, just to be able to optimize the feed. In that, by the time it's getting to 18th, we are now telling farmers we are good to go. Our feed is quality, it's been tested and all that. We are going to assure you of this result. And these farmers have been using our feed. They can be able to give you, testimonials on how our feed is performing. And out of this, our factory is close by to our farmers. So we're able to get to our farmers easily, as compared to when it was, just set up in Netherlands or, something like that, because that is far. By the time information gets there, as much as the technology, there's testing and then there's feedback. So here there's proximity to the farmers. And that is why we're trying to assure our farmers, please come and see. It's not just, here seeing, promising you good feed and all that. Come and see where it's being produced. Come and see the processes in our production. And this is our promise of quality and consistency, because that is also important, consistency.
Yes. And as we wrap up, I would like you to speak to the farmers and tell them exactly why it is very, very important to be keen on exactly what you're giving your animal, because at the end of the day, it's not, just like you said, it's not about the size of the animal.
Yes.
And it's not how it looks. At the end of the day, it's what is in whatever that farmer is feeding that cow or that chicken.
Yes. So my last advice to the farmers is whatever you give your animals is whatever is going to come out. And as the Hughes, we are promising quality and consistent feed, in that whatever you're giving you this month is what you're going to give you next month and is what you're going to give you next year. In that you as a farmer, you're able to predict your output and you're able to plan ahead. Remember, it's not just the amount of feed, it's not the amount of feed the animal eats, it's amount of feed that animal converts into nutritional, and it absorbs it into the body and then converts it into milk or eggs. Yes.
Indeed. Your final comments?
We'll be launching our factory on the 18th of February. You're all welcome.
Thank you so much. And indeed, as they say, it's what you're feeding the cow. Of course, garbage in, garbage out. We are looking at enhancing production through quality feeds. That is also something that Kenyans, we are keeping keen on. And as you've heard, the Hughes are also on the forefront to ensure that happens. Because at the end of the day, it's not what the cow is eating, it's exactly what is in that feed that at the end of the day counts. Many thanks indeed for joining us on this production. We have been looking at the milk production and quality feeds, including for poultry. You feed your cows right, you feed your chicken right, you get your milk and your eggs right. Many thanks indeed. I've been hosting Michelle Arum, who is a lab associate at the Hughes, Kenya, where we have been putting into perspective issues surrounding poultry and dairy in regards to their feeds. Many thanks indeed for joining us on this edition of Beast Check. Many thanks indeed. My name is Ben Enjoy, and Lucy Maura has been a sign language interpreter for this live newscast. I'm giving the baton to the Swahili desk for Kurunzi and Tamrini. Good afternoon.